Hello, what's going on, YouTube? So, it's been quite a long time since I have been making videos, right? And I didn't make many videos either. Well, I kind of been sick for a while, on and off, flu, things like that, stomach sickness, allergies is the main one. I'm always sick with allergies, so that's a big one. But yeah, I thought maybe I'd start getting in the habit of uploading some more footage. This is actually a very old video. I think this is like 2 months old or something like that. So yeah, this is me just doing my push day. I think I am warming up in this video. It's been a long time, like I said. So I thought maybe I just kind of explain what's going on in the video and just why I've been absent. Well, you kind of already know it now. But yeah, so right here, I guess I'm still warming up from what it looks like. But yeah, I just been working on, you know, focusing on losing weight, um, just trying to stay alive from, being sick on and off quite frequently. The thing is, some of you might wonder, why do I get sick a lot? I don't think I have a great immune system, to be honest. Um, I take vitamin D3 with K2, of course, because I actually have very, very low vitamin D3 levels. I think when I got my levels checked for the first time, to my knowledge, through the VA, this was in 2021, I think. And they're like, yeah, your level is like 20 or like 19 or something like that, extremely low. She was very concerned, where my primary care referring to, she prescribed me, I think it was 10,000 or 20,000 IUs, but it was like a weekly dose. So she wanted me to take it just one time a week. And then after a few weeks, she sent me, I think it's a 2,000 IU that I was going to take daily. But yeah, I did more research into it, and I realized, okay, for one, I need more D3. And two, if you're going to take D3, you got to take D3 with K2 as well. So, that was just the first start of figuring out, okay, this is probably why I get sick a lot. Um, and I really need to start learning what supplements I can take. But I wasn't too focused on it at the time. I still wasn't even working out consistently. Um, I remember going to the gym just a few times a month. Um, and then when that snowstorm hit in Texas, the snowstorm of 21, the apartments we were living at the time, the pipes flooded. They froze and they burst, and the water flooded the gym that the apartments had. And by the way, these are brand new spanking apartments. I think they completed the build in 2020, which is when we moved into them, like right near the end of 2020. And we were like one of the first 5 to 6 people that moved in the entire building, because it's one of those apartment complexes that's all the units are connected to each other. Like, you can walk, it's an indoor hallway, and you can get around the whole apartment indoors. And then you just take the different floors, whether it's through elevator or the stairs, but all indoors. Um, so it was like a pretty big size apartment, um, but it was all, one building, technically connected to a parking structure as well. But yeah, it was pretty. We liked that fact that we were very few amount of people living in apartments, but it was also unfortunate that the snowstorm caused that flooding to happen. I mean, I'll be honest, pretty glad that we didn't have the worst of the snowstorm situation, but I am glad that it wasn't too bad. Anyways, just getting back to it. Um, yeah, so I think that's why I'm sick a lot, and because I have GERD, I'm prescribed pantoprazole, which is for people who have GERD, and with pantoprazole, what it does is it can actually lower magnesium, B12, and D3, and I think a couple other minerals or vitamins that our body naturally needs and produces. Well, maybe not entirely produces, but you don't usually get from food intake and whatnot. But because of that, I got my blood work done with my VA gastro, I think sometime last year around this time. And she said that my D3, I think, was like in the 30s, the low 30s. So that's when I really looked into, okay, I need to find how to get my D3 levels up more. I have been spending more time outside in the sun, but it's not enough, especially now that we're in the wintertime, right? Uh, it it's not as sunny for as long, and it's freaking cold, so you're basically just covered up anyways. At least out here, it feels like that, in Texas. But so recently, I found, oh boy, I can't even remember the brand name now, but it's I found it on Amazon, and it's like this aluminum style pouch. The D3 gel pills come in, and they're really tiny gel pills. They have different options, so you can get, I think, 2000 IU and then 5000 IU with 100 micrograms of K2 combined, and then you can get the 10,000 IUs with 200 micrograms of K2, if I'm not mistaken. So I looked at the reviews. I unfortunately didn't do a lot of um, research into the company, so I'm not entirely sure on like the quality and whatnot. But for the most part, I'm hoping it's helping, because when I just recently did my blood work for my gastro at the VA, she did say that my D3 levels are good now. They're in like the 40 something range. So that's good. It's working. And I do take the 5000 IUs with 100 micrograms every day. And then if it's going to be cloudy all week, I will do 10,000 IUs, or well, basically just two of those pills um, every other day, or maybe 3 times a week, depending how I feel and whatnot, and how gloomy and cloudy it is. I kind of gauge it throughout the week. So that's what I've been trying to do. But yeah, so I have been combining that with some other supplements, and some of those supplements are taking citrus bergamot. Citrus bergamot is a good supplement to help lower your bad cholesterol and bring up your good cholesterol, which is always important. We always want to make sure that we're keeping our cholesterol in check. Um, I do eat relatively clean for the most part. And when I mean relatively clean, I mean there's just times where maybe we'll get some frozen breaded chicken, although the macros on them are pretty good. Like one of the HEB chicken nuggets that kind of tastes like the Chick-fil-A nuggets. Those, I think, are I think 170 calories with like 15 grams of protein or somewhere in that ratio. I gotta find the bag. I'll probably mention that later. Um, but it's pretty decent, you know, that much amount of protein with that amount of calories. It could be like 190 actually, 190 calories. And then I think the rest is like fats and carbs, right? So, and they use chicken breast, so I think it's more carbs than fats um, because of the breading, right? So, things like that is when we don't quote unquote eat clean, but we do air fry things. So we try to avoid using oil to fry things. If we do use oil, we use the avocado spray oil. Um, Boy, I can never remember that darn brand. Chosen Foods, I think, is what it's called. You get that at and you can see right here, my chest is freaking pumped to heck. At least for me, I was feeling it. Yeah. Um, but Chosen Foods is the avocado oil we get. Um, Supposedly, with the testing that they've done, Chosen Foods and there's one other brand out there that actually have avocado oil that isn't rancid. So that's why we use them. And because avocado oil is really good, right? It's the good fats that we want, which is for our good cholesterol. And yeah, so I mean, we eat pretty clean for the most part. Lately I've been having a lot of the Starkist tuna pouches with 1 tablespoon of mayo, 1 tablespoon of sriracha, and I mix that up with a little bit of like a nori sesame seed seasoning mix with steamed white rice. So that would be my lunch, and it's pretty good. You get a good amount of protein in there. You get obviously the omega 3s with that, and the calories are extremely low because for the rice that we have, 1 cup of cooked rice is 180 calories, I believe. And the tuna is about another 180 calories because I do 2 servings of the pouches. So, well, it's a double serving pouch. So if you'd actually use the single serving, I think one pouch or like a single pouch is of the smaller sized, the normal small sized tuna pouch, the Starkist, is 80 calories, I think. So if you times that by two, it's 160. But then they also have like a double sized tuna pouch where the calories come out to 180 total. So you get an extra like 20 calories in there, and you get a little bit extra protein too. But anyways, so you're looking at like 360 calories ish, give or take. No, that's wrong because the mayo is 80 calories. So you add 80 calories on top of that. What is that? 340 calories right there. Sriracha is 0 because I only do 1 tablespoon, and I measure everything out on a food scale. Um, but yeah, so I take that just because I want to make sure my cholesterol's in a good spot. My bad cholesterol, the LDL, was in the good range, but on the higher end. When I did my blood work recently, and my HDL, which is a good cholesterol, was actually pretty damn low. I think it was 37. So I'm trying to bring that up, and which is why I'm taking the citrus bergamot to help with that. Another thing too is I've been taking omega 3s, specifically the Gorilla Mind brand of the omega 3s, just because it has more EPA than DHA. And the reason why I like more EPA than DHA is because the EPA is a little bit more beneficial for like cognitive function, mental health, anxiety, things like that. So that's just a big plus, right? I take, oh boy, I think it's like 3 grams. So 2 pills almost comes out to about 3 grams, maybe 4 grams. I have to check again. But I do that because it's also really good for lowering your triglycerides and your LDL cholesterol. And then also it keeps your blood viscosity low. So that's another benefit as well. So, those are just a few supplements I take. I take Tudka because it's like a bile salt um, supplementation or liver support supplement, because I have no gallbladder. And I'm not sure if because I don't have a gallbladder, I have Gilbert's disease or Gilbert's disease, however you say it. Um, but my bilirubin is always high. It's like 2.2. It's been like that since I think I first got it checked through the VA years ago. And I wanted to test out the effectiveness of Tudka. So I've been taking that, and it's been helping. And then I added NAC on top of that, which also helps with the liver. So essentially, I'm taking two different liver support supplements. And I noticed that after like 3 months, my bilirubin went from 2.2 to 1.6, I think it was, which is really good because it's kind of hard to bring that bilirubin down. Um, but yeah, so I'm just gonna keep it there. That's a good range to keep it at. Doesn't have to be any lower, from my understanding. Just because again, I don't have a gallbladder, and the Tudka helps with that too, because again, it's a bile salts supplement, so it's going to help with what bile is needed to do to help break down, the food, especially fatty foods, that when you eat a lot of fat, and needs to get digested. Um, yeah, so that's what I've been taking to help with that, and the NAC. So let's see what else. I'm trying to think. Um, hmm. I think that is everything. Let's see. One, two, three. Yeah, and then I mean, usually what else I take is so I was taking the pantoprazole, and I take my cetirizine, which is just the generic name for, or the medical term, medicinal term for uh, Zyrtec. But so I take that, and then I also take what is it called? Oh, and I also take Cialis, 5 milligrams every day. I take that just because um, it's good for blood pressure, but it's also FDA approved um, for prostate, helping with benign prostate hyperplasia, which is like prostate swelling, but not bad swelling unless it gets out of hand. Well, why do I have, that? Why am I taking it for that? Well, it's because I'm also on TRT. So I take 140 milligrams of testosterone, but it's split up into daily dosages, which comes out to 20 milligrams a day. And because of that, I do notice that I get a little bit of leakage when it comes to urinating. So that usually can be a sign of BPH, which is the benign prostate hyperplasia. So taking 5 milligrams of Cialis every day is beneficial for keeping it in check and either reducing it or preventing it from growing or swelling up more. So yeah, that's another thing I take. I don't know if I mentioned about being on TRT in my other videos, but yes, I am on TRT. I've been on TRT for about 2 years now. When I got my blood work done, my level when I did my first blood draw, my levels were 168, which is extremely low. And the doctor says, for this next test, let's see how high we can get it. So I want you to relax. If it's possible to call out, if you're willing to do that, and if you can, um, just relax. Don't stress out about anything, and let's see how high we can get it up. And so that's what I did. I made sure to take it really easy. I played games. I watched my favorite cartoons, because I grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s. So watching SpongeBob was a big deal for me. So it's a close one. So I like to watch it every now and then, especially with my son. But yeah, so I watched cartoons, played games, took it easy, didn't focus too much on like measuring my food. I just made sure as long as I'm eating healthy, whole food, I'm not going to think about measuring because I don't want to have that mental stress, because the goal is to try and see how high my natural testosterone levels can go up. And by the way, I have been working out for a while. I have been dieting. I have lost weight. But I've just had all the typical signs of low testosterone, clearly, because I got my blood work done. But I've been doing all that stuff for a while at that point. So it's not because I haven't been working out. It's just because, um, that's just the way my body is. I've been dealing with it. And I think that the doctors suspect that there could be a couple of things that triggered it. Could have been a few things in the military, or possibly I could have been born that way, because I've always been heavier as a kid out of both my brothers. Um, I've always been more lethargic. I've always been more tired. I've always been just less, you know, um, like teenage aroused, riled up, you can say. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think it's possible I could have been living with it for a long time and it's just gotten worse. But yeah, anyways, so when I got my next blood work done, it only went up to 222. And that's in like a perfect world where I don't have to work. I don't have to, measure food, or I could play video games and just chill and do nothing. Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not how the real world works. So, I realized, okay, I had to get on testosterone therapy, replacement therapy. So I've kind of been on it for about 2-ish years, I think, about now. So I do take that. Um, and I got my blood work done, and it says that my testosterone levels, I got this done very recently, like I think 2 weeks ago, and my testosterone levels were at 810 or something. Like, I had to check back the number. It was definitely 800. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's like a reasonable number. It's not super physiological. It's not low. It's not too high. It's a good number. So I think that's kind of been helping a lot with my mental health, my workouts, obviously, because since I take it every day, my testosterone and blood levels are consistent because it's microdosed every day. Recovery is just better than someone who's purely natural. Dieting, same thing. My testosterone levels would just be able to hold up higher if I was to diet hard, um, because of that. So yeah, I've been on TRT for a while. So um, yeah, if anyone is just curious about that, that's what I've been doing for a while. And it's really helped. It's changed my life significantly, mostly with my mental health. That's the biggest one. I'm a big believer in taking the right medications if it's going to help you and if it doesn't cause any severe negative side effects to you. And what I mean by that is, For example, TRT has been known to be extremely safe if it's done right, if you take the right precautions, if you understand your body and how you react to it. It is extremely safe. And I think there's some studies they've done where you wouldn't even see cardiac remodeling until up to 500 milligrams of testosterone. So technically, and I'm not saying anyone should do this, I'm not condoning it. I mean, I'm not encouraging this, but technically, if you're under 500 milligrams, you wouldn't see any significant, um, cardiac problems. Mostly because testosterone is basically the closest you can get to your body's natural production because it's testosterone. It's not other steroids out there. Um, other anabolic androgenic steroids. Now, I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying that my guess is that's probably why you can go, and this was just done with testosterone, but you can go that high. That's what I suspect. Now, everyone is different, and that's why TRT. It's always important to do research and understand your body and how everyone is different, and you have to do this whole year of like trial and error to figure out what's the right protocol for you. Because, for example, for me, taking 140 milligrams a week and I'm microdosing it every day is getting me to the 800 level. Now, there's people who can take 140 in the same exact way I do it, and they might get like 1,000, or some people might only get like 400 because everyone is different. So I am a big believer in this though, because it has changed my life significantly. I have way more energy. I have, more mental clarity. I feel less prone to anxiety attacks. Um, Now that's still, something to always work on, right? Mental health. You can't just assume that one medication is going to fix it. That's it. You're done. You really do have to work on that, whether it's professional or just really, you know, working on that with yourself. Um, but I am a big believer. For example, another good thing is blood pressure medication. People always have this, um, they have this like negative mindset towards blood pressure medication, and I get it because taking a lot in long term does cause bad side effects and can cause harm. Now, here's the thing though, you got to understand those types of people that are having those side effects. Are they changing their habits? I know so many people in the past who had to take a lot of blood pressure medication, but they don't change their diet, they don't exercise, they don't do anything to help themselves. So what happens is, let's say you become hypertensive and you sit for work, you don't even go on walks, and you like to eat junk food a lot, right? That's a big problem there. So your diet is bad, no exercise. Now you got to rely on this blood pressure medication. Let's say they give you like 20 milligrams of, I'm just going to throw like telmisartan out there, okay? Let's just say telmisartan. Um, and or, I mean, even possibly like propanolol. That's a big one too. Propanolol, because I know some people, a lot of people apparently get prescribed propanolol, which is a beta blocker. Telmisartan is a ARB, or an angiotensin 2 receptor blocker. They're different classes, but they both will lower blood pressure, except propanolol, because it's a beta 2 blocker, it'll lower your heart rate. So if you have a high heart rate, but because it's beta 2 blocker, specifically the 2, that leaks over to your respiratory system, which is usually why it's good for people who get panic attacks, because it's going to force you to slow your breathing down. But for someone like me who has asthma, propanolol or metoprolol is not great. So nebivolol would be better because it's a beta 1 blocker, so it does the same thing, but it just doesn't leak over. to your respiratory system. But anyways, besides the point. So, you get 20 milligrams of telmisartan, and it's working, but then you continue to eat like crap because now you feel better. You're not hypertensive anymore. It's under control. And you're like, okay, I'm not going to go on a walk either, because it's like, why do I need to if I feel good, right? And believe me, there's people who have this exact mindset. If it's solved with medication, they're not going to want to do more effort if they can continue their lifestyle and feel better, right? And so now they become hypertensive again. So then they tell the doctor, and the doctor's like, okay, let's bring it up to 40. And then you just keep repeating that to the point where you're like taking 80 milligrams of telmisartan. And it's like, that's where you're on it for so long. And that's where you start experiencing those intense side effects, or start, getting bad symptoms or making things worse for you, because you're taking such a large dose and you're not changing your lifestyle habits. So that's my mindset, is like, these medications aren't bad. Think of them more as like a tool, or like an assistant, just to kind of get you going in the right path. So if you do become hypertensive, um, you got to tell yourself, okay, I'm going to take this, I'm going to get it under control, so that way I can feel good again. But now I can feel good, and I'm going to start working out. I'm going to go on walks. I'm going to try and eat a little bit cleaner. And then you're going to notice over time that maybe 20 milligrams is bringing your blood pressure down pretty low. And now you could either take half of that, or maybe you might not even be able to take it at all, or not need to take it at all. And then you just keep going down that path to the point where you don't need it. You're not hypertensive anymore. It's under control. You're losing weight, or you're just, getting leaner, getting bigger, getting stronger, which tends to be extremely beneficial for you in the long run. So that's what I mean by, medication is, I'm a big proponent of that. I do believe in it for the right cause, the right amounts, for the right reasons. So, if you have this mindset that medicine is bad, please don't. Just look at it more as like an assistant and a warning sign. Oh, shoot, I'm hypertensive because of this lifestyle habit, but I'm not going to take blood pressure medication because I know it's not going to help me. If you really have the willpower to eat and exercise your way out of hypertension, then I will say go for it. You don't have to take the medication. But it doesn't feel good. And how likely are you going to be able to handle working out if you are hypertensive? Because you're not going to feel good, because now you have to raise your blood pressure up to work out, because your body's pumping more. So, I would say just take the pills, take the prescription, take them home, leave them there, and then try. And if you can't, because you don't feel good enough, then just start taking it. And that way, when you feel better, you could really push for it. So that's the mindset I hope you guys can have, because I understand big pharma doesn't have a good name, and rightfully so with what we've seen recently. But there's so much studies and evidence out there, and anecdotes of people getting better by taking some of this stuff and then getting off of it, and then they can maintain it without the medication. So please just kind of have that mindset of okay, I'll take this to get me going so I cannot take it ever again. Look at it as more like a warning sign, like, hey, your lifestyle has been pretty bad. You need to make a change quick. So, I hope you guys can have that change in mindset here. But yeah, I realized I haven't been talking about the workout in here, and I guess that's fine, just because I do have another video of this. Let's see, this is push day 1, so push day 2, but from today, and today is December 26th. This video I think was recorded either end of October or beginning of November, so it's a very old video of me working out. So yeah, it's fine, I guess, that I don't really do any commentary on what I'm doing here. It is kind of straightforward. Um, but yeah, I want to try and get in the habit of, recording more videos. Actually, I have a lot of videos recorded and I have them saved to an SSD. I just haven't had the time. And then, of course, when I do have the time, I don't feel good because I've been sick on and off, to upload them and edit them and everything. So I have a lot of unedited videos that I don't even know if I'm going to post up now at this point. Um, Actually, there is one I might post up, and it's the review on this Mikolo Smith machine that I have here at home. I'm going to tell you right now, best freaking investment I ever made. The only downside is it ended up selling cheaper by like $400-$500 recently than when I first bought it, because I think I bought this when it was like 1700 out the door, like everything total. And um from when I convinced my best friend to buy one, I think he got it for 1100 or maybe 1000, because I think it was even on sale at one point for 990 or something like that. So I had to ask him how much it was when he bought his, but he got it for way less than what I paid for it. But yeah, I love it. So I'll probably upload that one. Um, go easy on me, guys. I'm not used to this. I'm like still thinking as I'm talking. I'm not used to having a conversation with myself as if I'm talking to an audience. It's kind of weird. So I'm hoping I can make the quality better as we go on. But yeah, I guess we'll just see. I need to take a sip of this water. But yeah, that's the plan. We'll see. We'll see what videos I can get out. Um, yeah, I think there's some things I want to talk about with what I'm trying to do with my channel. I just want it to be whatever it is. Just post whatever. Because I know how you can help your channel grow is just post as often as you can. So that's one thing. I am just gonna let myself find the niche that I'm gonna go for. I just want it to happen on its own. I'm just gonna do whatever I like doing. I know I've mentioned this before in videos. I think, who knows, because I sometimes I edit them and I don't even freaking upload them. But in one of my videos, I did mention that I want to do reviews, of whatever workout stuff, electronics, gadgets. You guys saw, hopefully, you saw my RoboVac, um, my robotic vacuum review. I want to do some gaming because I mean, gaming's a big part of my life. I grew up playing games as a little kid, had a Super Nintendo, had a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Xbox original, which is funny because it was just called Xbox. And then the 360 came out. And so everyone called it the 360 or the Xbox 360. And when people said, hey, do you have an Xbox during that time period? People would be like, oh, yeah, I have an Xbox. And it's like, oh, do you have an Xbox 360? Oh, I don't have an Xbox 360. So it was, different. Where I feel like nowadays people just say, oh, do you have a PlayStation or an Xbox? So I don't know. It's just some weird train of thought that just went through my head. But video games are a big thing for me. It's fun. It's a great stress relief. It's good entertainment. I like it. You know, I play games anyways. Obviously, working out is probably the biggest thing right now with me because it's helping me with my health. It helps me not just physically but mentally. Oh, by the way, these are the Hypertrophy Coach straps. I love those things. They're a really great investment for any of your side delt cable work. The reason why I say that is because that's usually the main way it's, or the way you use those cuffs are usually for when you do your side delt work on the cable machine. You can use that for other things, but for me personally, it's just more of if I'm doing side delt work with the cable machine, I'm going to be using that. Technically, you could do a cable front raise with those because the whole point of these wrist cuffs are to um, put less fatigue on your grip and your forearms when you're holding a handle and it's just being pulled on your wrist, so you don't have to worry about like fatiguing your grip and then just like it gets looser and looser over time and then you have to stop and adjust so much, or it's just too tired, or maybe your forearms are too pumped to be able to continue holding on. You don't have to worry about that with these. So if you have that problem at all, or if you're just really want to focus on your side delts, I'd say definitely invest in that and do a lot of the cable work and increase frequency. If you want something to grow, you have to add more volume for it. But anyways, so yeah, so there's just a lot of things I want to do with the channel, and I'll just let whatever happens of where I'm gonna have a niche or focus more on content wise for the channel. But I just need to work on trying to upload as much as I can frequently and just see where it goes, because obviously the more you do it you're going to get better at it, and then you're going to find more ways of how to make it more efficient and make it look better, things like that. So obviously being here in the early stages, everything probably looks and sounds like crap, but um it's fine with me. But yeah, so that's just kind of what the plan is. Just upload whatever the heck I feel like uploading and see how it goes. I hope I can provide some insights for you all on things. Um, I will say this though, as like a hopefully my last rant. I don't know how far we are in the video, but I want to say for those who are heavy and are trying to lose weight, it really is a long, slow process. And I think a big tip, something that I would highly recommend to my fellow heavier body people, um, you have to start easy. Don't jump into it hard. You do not want to freaking rebound. Trust me, when I got out of the military, I gained weight, and I've tried on and off many years to lose weight and to diet, and I just didn't really understand thoroughly anything about nutrition. And when I started learning more about it, I realized, okay, this is how you have to lose weight. And you have to understand that it's a long, slow road, but it's very rewarding because of the hard work you put into it. So, my advice is go easy. And maybe the example could be, I don't know what your diet is, but for example, our diet used to be pretty bad. Okay. So we used to DoorDash a lot. Okay. So we obviously were eating out. Um, breakfast. I'm trying to remember. I think we used to get the Chick-fil-A breakfast. And if you ever seen the freaking calories and macros on that, whew, pretty bad. but I would get the breakfast burrito. It's been so long, so I don't know what the calories and macros are, but I know for a fact that they were really high for how small that burrito was. Very greasy, very fatty, and I always felt like crap. A lot of carbs. Okay, so I think that was like, it's not everyday breakfast, but if I'm going to use my experience and our worst diet days, I'm going to say I think we had the Chick-fil-A for breakfast, and then I think we would either have like Thunder Cloud sub sandwiches, or um, we might do like ramen or something like that. And then I think dinner would be like maybe McDonald's or something. So that's a lot of calories, that's a lot of carbs, that's a lot of fats, and nowhere near the amount of protein you would need, and quality protein. So for example, in that aspect, what I would do is start with making scrambled eggs at home using regular cheese, just to get in the habit of making something for yourself. So use regular cheese, whatever cheese you like, just not super fatty, but like a good cheese, like a sharp cheddar, medium cheddar, or I mean, okay, I guess you could do regular mozzarella, but I think people are pretty happy with skim mozzarella. But just whatever cheese. The point is just to get in the habit of making your own food. Um, so do that, and then maybe have it with some toast, like toast up bread. If you don't like bread, but if you're eating like crap, maybe you do like bread. Toast up some bread with it, and then try to make smarter choices on the foods you eat out. So if you're going to have McDonald's for lunch or dinner, well, instead of getting like a 10-piece McNugget with large fries and a sugary drink, try getting um, a diet or a zero soda, and then get no fries, and then maybe get that 10-piece nugget with a 6-piece nugget as well. So instead of getting all that sugar and carbs from the fries and the soda, why not just get a little bit more protein? You could still get more food in, some more calories, but the idea is, instead of it being pure carbs from fries, at least you're going to get some protein from the chicken nuggets, and you can avoid that huge amount of carbs from the fries and the oil, so all the fat too, because either way everything's all fatty. And then you're going to get no calories and no carbs, no sugar, none of that stuff from the soda, if it's a diet or a zero. And that's already like a good option, right? Well, not good, but I mean that's a smarter option for a bad diet, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. But that's just an example of how you do that. And then for example, like if we would have Japanese food or something, I'd get like a bento box where it's like steamed rice instead of the fried rice. um, and then I choose like the chicken. If there's an option to put the sauce on the side, the teriyaki sauce, I'd put it on the side, or I'd put no sauce at all, because again, that's sugary. That sauce is usually sugary, so that's calories and that's carbs. Again, the whole point is to just try and make smarter choices, even though you're eating out, right? Um, that is how you want to try and start. So have one home cooked meal, and this is only a worst case scenario where you eat out for all three meals of the day. Um, so start off with that, and then eventually, you can move into maybe having a slightly bigger breakfast, more eggs, and maybe fat-free cheese. Add some chicken sausage or something like that. Um, and yeah, then lunchtime, maybe instead of McDonald's, you can try somewhere that like a sub sandwich. oh boy, that's probably not. I mean, it depends. Maybe like a wrap or something. But my point is, you're just trying to be smarter with your choices, and then eventually you want to get to the point where now you're having breakfast and lunch that's home cooked, to the point where you could eventually do all three meals home cooked and things like that. So I think we're getting to near the end of the video, so I might have this discussion on the next video if anyone is watching and is interested in it. But other than that, that is kind of the plan with the channel, is to give some advice and to, oh boy, my cringy posing right here too. Eek. All right, well, I think this is the end of the video, so I guess I'll see you next time.